this is part of my tablescape, and what I mean by that is that in addition to my actual wedding piece, I am also doing what I guess you could call a groom's cake. But what it is it's just an additional piece to kind of add ambiance to your table. Last year I did picture frames with edible images. I've seen, let's see, who was the one who did the full, there was a woman one year who did like a full tea set out of gum paste, which was really beautiful.
Kim.
Was it Kim? So, you know, it's just something that'll add that little extra touch to your table, which the judges do like to see. Now, I'm not going to put nearly as many hours into this piece as I did, of course, into my showpiece, because my showpiece is the one that is going to be being judged. But you want this piece to be as clean as possible, and you want to put as much time and effort into it as you can devote to it, because it really will help with your score. Any little touches that you can add to help tell your story or to help tie in your theme really will help you when it comes to scoring for the judges. So you want to keep some of those things in mind. I had developed this technique earlier in the year, doing a cake for a client where I got to paint with royal icing to kind of replicate the texture of impressionistic art. You'll show it off when we turn it over. This is actually it's a lithograph from the 1920s from a children's book, a children's Grimm's Fairy Tales, and it's from the Frog Prince. And so I'm creating this book, like a groom's cake, but it's a book that's going to sit on the table, and it's going to have a page with the princess and the frog, and then on the other side we have a little saying we're going to put on there, and we'll unveil that later. And that will kind of tie in our whole romantic, sometimes you gotta kiss a lot of frogs before you find your prince kind of aspect to our competition piece. So now, for those of you who have seen my Till Death Do Us Part tattoo cake, this is the same exact technique that we used there. We've got an image and we've used our graphite pencils to trace it, and you know, the condensation on the top of the of our fondant to have it stick, and then the graphite will transfer. Now the only difference between this cake and the Till Death Do Us Part cake is, you know, this is on styrofoam, so there isn't any condensation, which is what we use when we have actual cake underneath. You put it in the refrigerator, when you take it out, the condensation forms on your fondant, and you can use that. This isn't going to happen here because this is styrofoam, so what we did is we used a steamer, steamed our fondant, and it gives you the same exact thing. Your fondant gets nice and sticky, and then it transfers your graphite. Now we were having a little bit of technical difficulties with this piece because our graphite pencils, unfortunately the one I normally use, it broke, so I had to use a harder pencil and it didn't transfer as well, which will make our painting segment a little more entertaining, a little more fun and problematic, but we'll go ahead and peel this off and see how it looks. And there we go. And there is definitely enough of an outline there for me to get everything that I want to get on this picture. The gel colors don't exactly act like watercolors, but there's a lot of overlap, a lot of similarity.
How are they different?
The concentration is very different. Watercolors, good watercolors actually start as like a paste. So in that way they're kind of similar, but they're just a little runnier. If you have any oil on your fondant at all, any leftover Crisco or anything like that, it'll bubble, which means you won't get a complete coverage, which can be frustrating. But all we're doing here is we want just very soft. It's not meant to be super heavy as far as the color goes. And I'm using a 1/2 inch flat brush right now. And like I said, we're just kind of laying down our first layers of color. And as I've said before, you want to work from light to dark. You can always You can always add on top color on top. It's a little more difficult to take color away.